April 13th, 2025, Democratic Governor Josh Shapiro faced an attack, an attempted murder, as the governor's mansion was lit on fire while he and his family slept after a religious celebration.
May 9th, 2025, Representative LaMonica McIver, U.S. Representative of New Jersey, was arrested, charged for assaulting, interfering with a federal officer at an ICE facility.
On that same day, those same dudes had the audacity to arrest Democratic Mayor Ross Barack of Newark for doing his doggone job. They set him up.
And this is when they did that to her?
Yeah.
Wow. June 9th, 8th and 9th, Representative Maxine Waters, Auntie Maxie, y'all. Auntie Maxie.
Democratic representative.
She was blocked, confronted, and verbally threatened by National Guard at a protest.
She had guns pointed at her head. An 89-year-old U.S. Congresswoman had guns pointed at her head by government agents. June 12, 2025, Senator Alex Padilla, Democratic senator from California, was tackled and wrestled to the ground by some buttholes for asking a question.
April 25th, 2025, Judge Hannah Dugan of Wisconsin, a judge of Wisconsin, was arrested by the FBI for obstructing ICE and was suspended by the U.S. Supreme Court.
Democratic Speaker of the House of Minnesota, Senator Joff Hoffman. Oh, I'm skipping. I'm sorry. Melissa Hortman, because it's Hortman and Hoffman, y'all. Melissa Hortman, Democratic Speaker of the House, and her spouse were gunned down just yesterday by a Trump supporter. Democratic state representative, Speaker of the House, was gunned down in her home while sleeping. Oh, well, not while sleeping, because homeboy perpetrated being a cop. Because we cosplaying in these days. We cosplaying.
Yeah. In the same day, Senator John Hoffman of Minnesota was critically wounded in a related assassination attempt, and his wife, Yvette Hoffman, was shot but survived.
And just yesterday, the Texas legislature had to evacuate because of bomb threats and other threats from anti-No King protesters. Anti, not us, anti. Yeah, but we're fear-mongering, right? We're fear-mongering. So my question is, Black Americans, are you okay?
We want to know.
Do you feel safe?
What's going on? What are your thoughts? What's going on in your heads? What's going on in your hearts?
Hey, y'all, my name's Halisi.
And I'm Rick. Welcome to our Black Utopia.
On our channel, we do talk about money, but we talk about travel and life abroad. Black Americans living abroad. We help folks who look like us, who are getting close to retirement age and forgot to plan, get their money straight so that they can retire on time, or maybe even abroad or early. All right, sweetheart. So what are we talking about today?
We're talking about the topic of the day. No kings, no immigrants, no blacks, and black folks. We want black folks to stay safe in America.
Yeah, because you may look Haitian, you may look Dominican, you may look Cuban, right? You may look African. They don't know us apart, y'all. So if you think you're safe because you are an FBA or because you are a 10th generation American like we are, we're not. We're not. So I want to hear from you. What y'all talking about? What y'all thinking about? But first, if you're new to our channel, then you might not know. Back in 2018, Rick and I got a wake-up call, and that's why we left. Look, y'all, we were getting close to retirement age, and we forgot to plan. We looked at our money, and it looked crazy.
It looked crazy. Crazier than my hat, y'all.
It was St. Anthony's Day on Thursday. That's why he's wearing this hat. And even though we have a serious conversation, he's still wearing this goofy hat. We got to keep it light, y'all. But we got our financial act together and we went from negative 22,000 to over 1.1 million in net worth. If we can do it,
you can do it too.
You can do it too. But it was January 6th. That was it. That was the red line for us to say we're moving sooner than later. That was the red line that said these people are out of control and there's no going back. If you believe that America can get back to normal, you're kidding yourself. Western domination is finished. It's finished. And if you don't have to believe it. You do not have to believe it. But it's finished. There is no going back from this. There is a bit of salvation. There is a less bumpy road, but it will never, ever, ever be like it was in the 70s, y'all, when America was the best and they realized how they had effed over Black Americans and other migrants, right? And other immigrants. Well, we're not immigrants, but other people of color. Right. And they were doing right by us and things were going pretty good. And we got kind of full of ourselves. And then the 80s hit and they started reversing that stuff. It will never go back to that. And it will never be better than that in our lifetimes. So you have to make a choice. You have to make a choice on what you want to do. And our choice is to lead a pathway out of hell and to show you that there is another way. The Titanic is sinking and you've got to decide whether you want to get off now or don't get on that sinking ship.
Guess what? They don't want you to continue on the cruise anyway.
They don't want you on the cruise. And they're certainly not saving no lifeboat for you. That's why they're building bunkers and trying to figure out how to get to Mars and everything else while they destroy this planet. So it is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers.
Happy Father's Day.
I miss my daddy every day. But he was my Malcolm X, as y'all know. And so when I see what is going on right now, it's very hard to be silent. It is very hard to be silent when every single thing that we said was going to happen in the fall. And so many people got into our comments calling us idiots, calling us fools, calling us fearmongers.
Fearmongers. You guys are just trying to whip up,
That's because they don't know their history. And that's their fault. There is no excuse for an adult not to know the true history. Now, kids, I get it. Under 21, I get it. Over, like when you start getting close to 30, there is no excuse. There is no excuse to not know history. Not just our history, but world history. Read, y'all, read. And so most of the people who are watching right now, who watch us live, I know y'all got it going on. Right? Oh. I know y'all know what's up. It is the folks who get to our comments after the fact. So if you're watching from the future, let us know where you're logging into. And I want to know, what did you do on No King's Day? Let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments if you're watching from the future. What did you do on No King's Day? I will tell you what we did because there was, where them fans at? Because there was a No Kings protest here. But we have 105 people coming to the meetup that officially starts tomorrow. And so we had brunch yesterday with about 50 of our close personal friends.
Yes, we did.
That's what we did on No King's Day. And some of those friends actually did walk down to the public square to participate,
and take part in it. Yeah.
Right, in the Portuguese or the Portugal for the, the Democrats abroad. They probably teamed up with some other folks and did, a protest or whatever.
So the protests are worldwide.
They were worldwide.
They're worldwide.
Yeah.
Come on now.
They're protesting, for all of you who don't know, the kids are protesting on the military bases because of the book bans and because of not being taught true history and because they have gotten rid of all of the affinity groups like the Black Student Union, the Gay Student Union, the Girl Student or Young Women Student Union, whatever they call themselves today, right? All of those, affinity groups have been eliminated from the schools on the military bases. And those kids are protesting here in Europe. And I bet you guys didn't know it. I bet you they're not covering it in the United States.
Yeah.
Right?
No, they're not covering it.
I'm sure they're not covering it. All right. So we'll say hi to y'all we're just going to chitty chat today. We're going to chitty chat. As you hear from my voice, I've been having allergies. The weather has really been changing dramatically here from cold to high. It's going to be almost 100 degrees here tomorrow. And it's just nasal drip and stuff. And it's just messing with me. It is just messing with me.
So we want to hear how you feel. Because we stop and we talk about it, how everybody is feeling, how everybody is doing. So we wanted to kind of do this show just to find out how you guys are doing.
Yeah, definitely. But first, we want to thank Sambista for joining.
Yes,
thank you.
Welcome.
So all members, we get together right before this for behind the scenes and we chat. And we were talking up until about 6 minutes before we started. So that's why we were a couple of minutes late. So all members, check out the community page where we post things and you will find the links on how to get into the private Zoom chats with us. And for those legends, how to talk with us on air every other Thursday. So we thank you. Hey, Paula, good to see you.
Hey, Paula.
Bobby is in the house. Pacific Northwest is in the house. Jametta's in the house. Hey, Ellen. True, Judah, Shalom, brothers and sisters. I did a name change. It's no longer 3D.
3D. Okay.
Okay. Now you know I'm old. What you doing?
We have to put that on our notes.
What you doing? It's now True. Judah 3D inverted is 666, so I had to change it. Oh. I hope everyone's doing well. I wouldn't buy into that stuff. I would not buy into that. That is a Eurocentric control mechanism book, right? Go back to the original, baby. Anyway, do you, boo? Do you? Hey, Ailey, good to see you. Hello, Halisi and Ric. Hey. All is well as the rest of the OBU family. I watched the video from Thursday today. I was so enjoyable. I felt like I was there with y'all. Oh, thank you.
To me, it was crazy because I was like, okay.
Yeah. And I had in my earphones were noise canceling. So I could hear me and Rick, but I could barely hear the stuff around us. And I don't know how loud it was. Hopefully you guys heard it. So for those of you who were there for our live on Thursday, that last week, mm-hmm. I guess it's last week now because it's Sunday. Last week in June, every week, every year is St. Anthony's Day. Every Thursday that week of this, so I guess it's the second week, right? Second week of June, right? It's St. Anthony's, and the whole city basically becomes a street party. It really, really does. And so we, after this is our fourth summer here, so now we know the drill. Now we know the places to go, and so we met all of the folks at a locally owned restaurant called Tradições. That means traditions. And it is Black owned. And so we met them there. And, they knew we were coming, of course. And everybody had sneaky snacks, and wings.
Conversation.
And some people had salmon plates.
Yep, salmon.
So you can have everything from wings to salmon and everything in between.
And the owner even bought everybody a shot.
Yes.
We had shots at the end.
Yeah, she was so happy.
She was,
we brought money to this city. You hear us? All right. And we made sure that we went to locally owned restaurants. And so, she came out with a big tray of shots for everybody. And we celebrated. So that was really, really great. And then after that, we took everybody on a walk around our neighborhood and up through to Graça and then Alfama and then down where Cais de Sodré is and Praça de Comissão. That's that yellow square. And then we headed on over to Bica at the end. And we started with 40 people and then we ended up with 5, including me and Rick and Ron, our brother who is here staying with us during this whole meetup on vacation. So we ended up with 2 more people. And one of them was Action BJ.
Action BJ and CK.
And CK, right? But yeah, we had a ball. We had a ball. So, hey, Karen
Hey,
Louise,
Karen Louise.
greetings and happy Father's Day
Thank
to
you,
Rick.
thank
Hello
you.
to OBU family and every daddy around the world. Right, Jametta? Absolutely. Hey, Lenora, good to see you.
Hey, Lenora.
Greta is in the house, of
Hey,
course.
Greta.
CK. We've got Tana Rose and Wanda, Expert Ease Tax, and Vanessa from Travel Artistry by VR on the Move. Angry Masked Cells. Okay, that's a new one. I don't think, hey, Angry Masked Cells. CELLS, not SEL. Okay, I want to know more about that name.
Yeah.
I want to know more about that name, right, Antonia?
Yeah, Tanner.
Winnie is in the house. Hey, LaShonda, house sitting retiree. I heard that. Look, y'all, if you're trying to get out right now, if you're looking around and like, okay, these folks crazy. You heard what we just read. All of those Democrat, like y'all, like Alex Padilla said, Senator Alex Padilla, if they will do that to him,
oh yeah,
what will they do when the cameras are off? What will they do with someone who is not one of 99 other people in the whole world who are U.S. senators?
right.
Like he's one of 100. They don't get too much more elite than that. And look what they did. And look what they did, right, Christian? Thank you for becoming a member. We love you and we thank you. Again, y'all, you got to join us before we go live for our chitty chat. We've been having some good conversations, right, Meriton? It's a good conversation. So yeah, if you want to get out sooner than later, ask LaRon. House sitting, I was telling folks yesterday, if I wanted to bop around, if I was a bopping around person and I wanted to see this side of the world, I'd do 3 months in Britain and 3 months someplace else, because you can house sit in London pretty much back to back to back to back to back for months. There are so many house sits. So if you like pets, house sitting is the way. And I don't know if I have it in the description right now, but I have a link to where we do house sitting and we watch people's dogs and cats and get our little fix in. And just like grandparents, we happy to give them back at the end of a week or 2 weeks or so. So, all right. Mr. Marcus, hey, thank you. Hey, Yakota's in the house. I love it. Okay, question. Can you provide the location for the pickup on Tuesday? I'm taking a boat from Seychelles. Oh, so yeah, it's in all of that information is in the WhatsApp group. So anybody who's watching, who is in the meetup, all of that information, one, has been emailed to you, and two, and it's been emailed to the email address that you use on PayPal, or two, it is in the WhatsApp group under docs, as in documents. Okay, all of that information is there. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. Christian Culpepper is in the house. Killer Queen. Ballerina is in the house. Thank you. All right, y'all. We're going to go ahead and get started. I want questions, so you know the drill. If you have a question or comment that you want to put on screen, I want to know how y'all are feeling. Because I tell you, I started panicking when I saw, first of all, there's something weird about all of these people with masks on. That's some sinister crap.
Well, you heard how they try to justify it.
I don't care about the justification. You guys are not spies. You're not going undercover trying to infiltrate the Kremlin or some shit and find out some secrets before a country bombs us. That's not what you're doing. So if you are acting as a law-abiding person, just like regular LAPD, they ain't law-abiding, but any police person does not put a mask over their face. So if they don't put a mask over their face, I shouldn't be putting a mask over their face. And oh, by the way, for those of you who might not know, ICE is not a legacy, all right? Mm-hmm. And it needs to be abolished. I was really, really, really in 2020 against the term defund the police. I knew that it was going to be a loser, and it was. It should have been reform the police or demilitarize the police. But nobody wants to defund the police and like have no police. So when somebody's, robbing you, you call
Somebody
and don't
calls
nobody
911 and you
answer,
want
right?
somebody to
It
show
don't make
up.
no
Right.
sense. And I knew that that's not what they meant. So they should have come up with a better term. But abolish ICE, to me, that's fine. That is fine. We do not need them. We did not have them before 9/11. Did you know that? ICE did not exist before 9/11. And we don't need them now. We do not. Like, there is enough. We have enough digital security to be able to tell whether someone who is coming in has ties. There's people leave digital footprints. They do, right? And so it's easy to run somebody. It's easy to run their face. If we can do it, they can do it.
Hey, they've been doing it all over the world.
Right? And so there is no reason to have this Gestapo-like department running around, running roughshod with a 34 count felon in the White House, watch, just like the Substack that I just posted, watch the language that they use. Watch the language that they use. Because they were very deliberate in calling the protesters, the demonstrators in Los Angeles, insurrectionists. But they never called the people January 6th who broke into the Capitol, tried to find Vice President Michael Pence to hang him from the noose that they had out in the public square, tried to find Speaker of the House, U.S. Representative Nancy Pelosi to do whatever, kill, hang, whatever they were going to do to her. Right? Those folks were not insurrectionists, but the brown folks who were out there in LA, Mexican flags notwithstanding, I don't give a good hoop to hoop what flag. It's just some MF and flag.
Well, that, and how do you liberate LA?
How do you liberate
an American city of its residents?
We will liberate LA from the progressive woke policies of Karen Bass, Mayor Karen Bass, and Governor Newsom. Who, the very mature, melon felon, racist in chief, diaper wearing POTUS calls new scum. Is that some middle school nonsense or what?
I mean, y'all tell us,
what does it feel like there? Ooh, Christina, I'm sorry, I still have this up.
What does it feel like out there in LA? Do you feel you need to be liberated?
Right. And here's the thing, especially after yesterday, because things are going to get worse before they get better. That's number one. And we will know how this is going to turn out by the end of the summer, because summer is a time that change happens. It's always been that way. Kids are out of school, right? People be taking vacations and have time off. The weather is warmer. You ain't gonna have no snow and stuff keeping people in. This will see, like, if these white folks and other folks can sustain this at a level through 3.5% of the population, then maybe we can stave off the doom. But we know democracies die slowly and then all at once. This democracy has been dying since the Korean War. We have not won a war since the Korean War. And some people want to call it a police action or whatever. All I know is folks died. And there was one military and another country's military and maybe some other, and that's a war to me. So, right? That's a war to me. And we have not won since. That was the beginning of the dying of the democracy, because we didn't realize that empire building was no longer a tenable thing in the 20th century. Not geographical empire building. It's over. It's done. Israel hasn't gotten a clue yet. Russia hasn't gotten a clue yet. But they will. Oh, but they will. No, I don't feel safe here in this dumpster fire, but I see a light at the end of the tunnel. And that light at the end of the tunnel needs to be your liberation. We are here doing this. You hear my voice, y'all. We are here doing this because we want every single Black American who wants to leave to have some instruction on how to get out. We don't have to do this. And the power is going to be in the global South, y'all. So it's time to start making ties with other places that serve you better. That doesn't mean that you just totally divorce yourself from your home country.
No.
I get it. All of our family, blood family, is in the United States. Notice I said blood family.
Cool hat. It's cool. I mean, I only get to wear it once a year for a day or two.
So Superbach and Sagres
Superbach in Sagres
are the two Portuguese beers. And so Superbach is one of the sponsors of the St. Anthony's celebration. And yes, people are walking around with these hats on and then big sardines that go like this.
That's the Sagres hat. This is the sardine.
The sardine is the Sagres. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Oh my gosh. It's funny. It's goofy.
I mean, things are so crazy. You got to have something that you can at least smile about.
Exactly.
And I put a goofy hat on.
Exactly. Cosplay is the way for America. It is the way for America. And I'm so tired of people, of uninformed people saying stupid shit. Like, America is a Christian nation, right? Or American was built on the principle of freedom. Both of those are lies, all right? Both of those are lies. And if so, they certainly didn't act like it, okay? What we do know is that both America and Australia were the prisons for Britain. That's what we know. We know those first white folks would not have lasted a day. They would have been dead or hung in Britain. And then they come to this new place with brown folks and try to act like so such a much. That's what I know. That's what I know. I don't know what you know, but that's what I know. What you know. What you know. All right, what are you guys talking about? We want to know, how does it feel there? What are you guys dealing with? Hell to the no, Winnie B says. I'm in Chicago now, minding my own business until I get to Bogota, Colombia for a visit, and then Panama for residency. I know that's right, Winnie B. I know that's right. Yakota, you didn't tell us that.
Medgar Evers.
You did not tell us that.
Charles Evers, his brother, of course, it's your cousin too. My father was in the military with him.
Wow.
And I met him down in Mississippi when we performed down there for...
really?
Yeah. When I was with RCA Records and we went to, where were we? In Mississippi. It'll come to me. It was a long time ago. But yeah, my father was in the service with Charles.
It doesn't necessarily repeat, but it definitely rhymes. All right?
Yeah.
It definitely rhymes. And the reason why we haven't been able to build the coalitions that we have is because we have neglected to take it upon ourselves to educate the other POCs. We knew that information was not being taught in schools. We knew that. And yet we never made sure that all the other POCs got the real information about the history of that country. Had they would have listened to us, because we know, right? We know. We've been through it. Right, Wink? We've been through it. So, all right. Black American here in Atlanta. Hey, Madam CJ. I love that name. I love that name. So, you are bold, multi-stacker. Are you an African American or a Black American or a person who presents as Black? And you were out there in them protest streets?
Hey, made new friends.
Making new friends is always a good thing.
That's always a good thing.
That's always a good thing. But you're bolder than I. I would not have done it. I did not trust that that there's too many people in the National Guard. There are too many people in armed services. And then I don't know who all these ICE people are who are not identifying themselves. And there's too many people ordering uniforms off of eBay and Amazon and Etsy and all this other stuff. I did not trust that us showing up in numbers would have been a safe thing.
In numbers
Yeah. Would have been a safe thing. I don't. And I don't think that we should. I think that we should protest in other ways. I go back to the US on Friday. I'm sorry, Greta. Focusing on name change in courts, bank, Social Security, and renewing passport. Good. I will never go back to the US for anything and anyone, not even family. What the hell, right?
Are you not seeing? That's what I'm wondering. It's like
go ahead.
And I mean, you see all the protests and stuff like that, but and maybe being across the ocean and looking at it, it's just a whole different feel. Like something I'm not feeling, something is missing. And that's what I wanted to know. How do you feel? What do you guys think?
Right. Because from over here, it looks cray-cray.
It looks crazy.
It looks cray-cray.
And we're like, why aren't...
Like, I mean, I have never seen, we try to watch the news here, be it on our computers or on the TV as often as possible.
And you can get CNN here.
And they have CNN in Europe too.
Yeah.
And so, but I have never seen so many attacks on elected officials. So, I mean, democracy dies slowly than all at once, y'all. And this is the all at once. Look at the playbook. We talked about this before. Look at the playbook, right? It works the same every single time. And you have to attack the structures. All of those checks and balances that we were talking about. The first thing that they did was fire the attorney generals that would oversee and make sure everybody was doing what they were supposed to do. If you said you was going to spend money on that, it's up to me.
Yeah, not the attorney general.
Not attorney generals. I can't remember. I'm having a brain fart right now. But the department people who were in charge of auditing and making sure people were doing what they were supposed to do, right? And making sure there was no hanky-panky funny business or corruption. First thing they did was fire all those people, right? And started stripping all of the people who were supposed to keep checks and inspector generals. Thank you, baby. And trying to keep all the people in check. Fire all those people first. That's number one. He had already started attacking the media 10 years ago, and we went for the okie doke. They didn't call it out then, and we didn't call it out enough. But I blame the media. They should have never fallen for that okie doke. But because they are just so greedy and capitalistic,
they normalized him.
They normalized him and bent the knee. And now here we are, and they might not even exist as they are. Like what? One reporter asked him, one reporter said, actually, Mr. President, that the MS-13 on Garcia's knuckles was actually Photoshopped. The next day he got fired.
Yeah.
So the next step is to attack the media. The next step after that is to attack the universities. And then the next step after that is to silence the people. And that's where we're at. That's where we're at, folks. That is where we're at. I can't even go through the poem of First They Came For. I can't even go through that. Like, what are we on? Like the 6th level?
Yeah, I mean, that's why if and I'm going to give them a little shout out. Support independent media. Look at the Don Lemons, the Joanne Reeds, the Midas Touch. These different people that are doing things. My favorite is Brian. What's his name? I can't remember his name now.
Oh, really? Brian Tyler?
Yes, Brian Tyler. I can't remember his last name
Yeah,
right now.
I like Clay Kane. I like Laree Favors Daniel Favors or Favors Daniel, something like that.
Yeah.
All of those people, Karen Hunter, they are on Sirius XM and the Urban View. And now, since the election, they have started putting pieces of their radio show on YouTube.
Right. Brian Tyler Cohen.
Brian Tyler Cohen.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of independent media, and we need to really.
I like the Gen Z kids.
Wait, my boy, Roland Martin, Black Star Media. Start supporting them and watching them. The only big news agency I probably watch anymore is the BBC.
Yeah.
I can't get with CNN and MSNBC and CBS. It's like no, because you guys helped create that monster.
Yeah, the only person on MSNBC who I will watch their clips is Rachel Maddow. And that's because she spoke out about Joy-Ann Reid and said that was some BS at the risk of her own job. She didn't care. She's like, I'm gonna say this, and I know that was off script. So, and she's so brilliant. She really is. Hey, June. So yeah, I'll watch her. But other than that, the rest of these, I just refuse. I will not watch it. I will watch somebody else talk about what they said, like a Don Lemon, right? Or the Midas kids or whatever. There's some other Gen Z kids that I like.
The Midas Touch ain't kids.
Well, the younger ones are.
Oh.
Where can I find your email address? If you go to our page under About, you have to click something and say you're not a robot, and it will show you our email address. Yesterday here in Los Angeles, I joined the No Kings protest near Baldwin Hills, View Park, Crenshaw. That's my neighborhood. That's my neighborhood. That's where I grew up.
Okay, calm down.
Then moved to Pico, La Cienega. That was my best friend's neighborhood. Oh, she went to Hamilton High School. And
her mother's name what?
Her mama name what? No. And it was so peaceful and pure and healthy solidarity with all races. I love it. And Pico, La Cienega, is that like, it seems to me that area started to become very Eritrean and Ethiopian, or am I thinking that's too far west and maybe it's a little bit more towards La Brea? Okay, what else are you guys talking about? All right. I still Angry Mad Cells. Thank you for becoming a member, Angry Mad Cells. I just like, okay. With
I like the picture.
The cells exploding. That is cool.
Did you create that, Angry Mad Cells?
Yeah, well, definitely. Have y'all been to Bali? No.
My friend Ron, who is in the other room, he's been to Bali. And he loved it.
Did he love it? Well, yeah, everybody that I know loves it. Like, there's places that you want to visit, and then there's places that you could visit and live. And I know Bali would not be the live place for me because it's an island, and I ain't doing that. I'm not paying all that. Is there
a comparison of Little Caesars pizza?
And Sam, why would I have Little Caesars pizza?
Pizza.
When I can have mom and pop pizza.
Pizza.
For the same price.
Pizza. There's Pizza Hut.
There's Pizza Hut and Little Caesars in this neighborhood, and we have never ordered. Oh. I have had Pizza Hut since I've been here, not the one near our house, but at a friend's house, and I can't tell the difference. It don't taste no different. It don't taste no better.
We got a little pizza joint down the street that is, I guess are they Southeast Asian? When we get the Pizza Hut? Yeah. Like when we just at the last minute just want to get something to eat.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good pizza.
Yeah, and it's fresh and and so there's no reason to go to the chains. Went to in Azania drum celebration in Chicago to celebrate the diaspora. Oh, that sounds cool. Azania. I don't even know what Azania is. That's the first time I've ever seen that word.
Thank you, Meriton.
Yeah. A local told me that the Lisbon Saint season is 6/1 through 6/15, then Porto 6/15 through 6/30, then 7/15 is the Algarve. So it's 45 days. So I thought it was the month of Popular Saints. I didn't know that the Algarve was in July. I knew Porto and Braga were at the middle to end of the month and stuff like that. But yeah, hey, Wink, good to see you in the chat. All right. All right, let's get to some of these other. Hey,
This is my
Daniel.
nephew, Daniel.
Daniel Flores. Happy Father's Day,
Hey,
Uncle Rick.
Daniel.
Sadly,
Thank you so much, buddy.
they're coming after the immigrants. I know.
Get your butt on a plane, come over here and visit your uncle.
Then they're coming after everybody else who is not white. I know. But I hope y'all are doing good. We are doing well. We are doing well. But it's hard to feel like we're doing well. And just I just have to say this. All super thank and super chat money goes to our scholarship fund for Beyond the Bling. That is our financial freedom program for late bloomers. We should have had a group coaching last night, but I took too much allergy medicine and fell asleep.
And I was out.
Yeah, he was with the meetup people, and by the time I woke up, I was like, "Oh, shit!" Did not hear the alarm or anything. So if you are on and you're in Beyond the Bling, I'm so sorry. You hear my voice, so you know I'm for real, for real. But the other part was saying about the immigrants, and I hate that people have to learn the hard way. Right? I hate that people have to learn the hard way. And unfortunately, and here's the thing, folks, we people who are, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th generation American, but are not white, we can be called and accused of being anyone else, right? They could accuse me of being Jamaican, of being Haitian, of being Dominican, of being from Belize, right? Or Belizean, or right?
Ethiopian.
Ethiopian, right?
Yeah.
Prove it. Oh, and your name is Halisi? Isn't that African? Right? My son's name is Jabari. None of us are safe. None of us are safe. We're just biding our time. For real. And for those, y'all, we got to start talking to our family. There is a reason. Like, somebody's got to pick the food. Who's going to pick the food? Who is going to pick the food? If it's not going to be immigrants from South of America, which is the majority of those folks, who's going to pick the food?
And it's going to go bad in the Philippines as it is now.
No, but they're not going to let that happen forever. Somebody got to pick the food.
Well, yeah.
Somebody got to put food in them grocery stores. They're going to get slave labor? Well, but slavery is against the law. Is it? Because what is it, the 12th, 14th Amendment? Which is the one that says slavery is abolished except in the case of prison? Who's going to pick the food, y'all? I know who's not going to pick the food. Me. That's who's not picking the food. I will buy the food. I'm not picking the food. That's what's not going to happen. And I don't want you picking the food either if you don't want to. If you don't want to. Thank you, Coach AC, for becoming a member. You got to hang out with us before we go live. You got to hang out with us. So many are afraid to walk away. Take a risk on yourself to thrive. Greta is so right. And, it's interesting because here at the meetup is one of my high school friends I hadn't seen her since 10th grade, y'all.
Same here.
10th grade. And one of his high school friends, both of them found us via Facebook because we simulcast on Facebook from time to time. And so, you know how we have those high school groups and stuff that we probably joined way back in the early days of Facebook, but that means that they sometimes see our stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And so one of his high school friends found our stuff. One of my high school friends found our stuff. And they're here at the meetup. And it's funny because my high school friend has a very, not a unique name, but a name that other stars have. And so I'm like, Janet Jackson. Wait, I went to high school with a Janet Jackson. You can't be that same Janet Jackson. And she's like, yeah, this is the same Janet Jackson. And then when she showed up, like I didn't recognize her at first, but then when she smiled, I was like, oh my God. So really, really cool. I say that to say, they saw what we did and they're like, wait, I know them. They ain't that smart. They ain't that bright. Shoot, as a matter of fact, I got a better grade than them in Spanish, or I got a better grade than them in math, right? Right. And they're like, if they could do it, I could do it too. I can do it too.
Yeah.
And then we paved the way for others, y'all. You wonder why Minneapolis has the second largest population of Ethiopians outside of Ethiopia? Because people paved the way.
Somebody paved the way.
People paved the way, right? The second largest outside of it may be Denver or the Denver metro. It may be. We have a large Ethiopian and Eritrean population in the Denver metro area. So, it doesn't mean that everybody got to go to the same place. That's not what I'm saying. Portugal ain't for everybody. There's other people paving ways for other places, but paving the way for a life abroad, that is what we're trying to do.
Right.
That is what we're trying to do.
Give yourself choices.
I have no confidence in protests because the protesters on balance yell on cue, but fail to vote when it matters. There are no protest participation points.
CK, you need to put that on a shirt. T-shirt.
There are no protest participation points.
They yell, but on cue would fail to vote.
Yell on cue, but fail to vote. That definitely
needs to be put on a T-shirt.
That's catchy. Yeah. I mean, I want to know, like, if I were a content creator, if I were one of these, especially these Gen Zers, I would be walking through that crowd asking them if they voted. Not who they voted for, but if they voted. Because I know that there are some low information voters who are just now waking up and saying, oh, SHIT, I better, start paying attention. And we can't just diss them.
Right.
If they're willing to atone, so to speak, for their mistake, right? We can't diss them. Landed in Mexico on June 7th. Congratulations, right. Helen. Had my residency card in hand June 9th. Came to Mexico on a one-way ticket. I know that's right, Helen. Right? No plans on going back. We came to Portugal on a one-way ticket. And it seems to me that we were supposed to have a return ticket and I don't know. I don't know if we did that. Did we do that? I don't know. I don't know. They don't have to kick us out. I agree with you, Halisi. That's what I learned in school, that the prison colony for banishment as opposed to death. That's right. I can't remember if I learned that in school, Ailey. I can't remember if I learned that in school. Did y'all learn that in school? Did y'all learn that America was created by the people who were banished from the United Kingdom? That Australia was created by the people who were banished from the UK?
I heard that. Australia.
But did we learn that in school? Or did we learn that afterwards? I can't remember now. Senator Padilla debacle was to embarrass him, right? I wasn't embarrassed for him. I think he took one on the chin for the team. It was to embarrass him and is about exerting the fascism authoritative regime, right? And give a finger to the Congress, the states' rights, right? What happened to states' rights? What happened to that? Right? What happened? We are the law and order party. What happened to that? We are the constitutionalists. What happened to that? The hypocrisy, the hubris and the hypocrisy of this regime and the idiots that continue to make excuses. And I have to say, I'm going to call his name out. I'm calling it out right now. And I don't want to do this because, as I've said in the past, he has done me some solids. But the current Speaker of the House is not up to the task. He is not up to the task. We will respond at a time and date of our choosing. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? The country is slowly being dismantled. Do you realize, like, I told you, America needs to feel the pain of a Black brain drain. I have been saying that for the past 3 years. Well, they're going to feel the pain of a brain drain in general, not just from us. I hope they feel it from us, because that's going to be all encompassing. See, a lot of other cultures are kind of one dimensional. But Black folks, like, we be inventing stuff. We be scientists. We be mathematics. Like, there wouldn't have been a person on the moon and come back and none of that stuff, right? If it wasn't for us, right? We know that, right? So we got the science on lock. We got the culture on lock. We got the music on lock. We got the sports on lock. We got everything that people care about on lock. Now, some people, some cultures may have progressed in some area and been known for some areas more than us, but that doesn't mean we're not represented, right? But think about it. If you're Chinese, if you're Indian, if you're Pakistani or whatever, right? Like, and you're one of these coders, one of these AI type of people, right? And you want to come get your master's degree in the United States, you think that's going to happen? If you are a chemist, a scientist, or something like that, and you're trying to find cures for stuff, improve this and that, as far as human life goes, the body, or maybe even climate, right? And you were going to come to a major university in the United States that has some grant or this or that that you can do your research under. You think you come into the United States? No. You better pray that a pandemic does not break out during this regime's reign, because you ain't got nobody to fight it. You ain't got no ties to the health organization. Half your scientists are gone. They have dismantled the research programs, right? They have thrown away the playbook on how to deal with a pandemic because they idiots, because they WEI. They think they know everything, white, entitled, and incompetent, right?
Robert Kennedy Jr. I'm going to say it.
The brain drain is real, y'all. And we're just getting started. And we do not want to be the ones left holding the bag, because there won't be too much bag to hold. I am telling you, as he is contracting from the planet, as he is contracting from the rest of the world, other folks are getting together and saying, France is like, oh, we got some money. China's like, oh, we got some money. You want to do some research? We got some money. Africa, what you need, what you want. What you need, what you want. You want trains? We will invest what you want.
Yeah.
Now, who do you think? Because the majority of the natural resources are on the motherland, on that continent. And they are starting to wake the F up and unite.
Yes, they are.
And China realizes that and is like, what you need, what you want. What you need, what you want. We want to be your friend. I want to be their friends too, right? I'm not going to sit around here on the Titanic looking at the 1970s for Black folks and saying, wait a minute, we got to get back to the promised land, when we forget how they were still killing us and started the war on drugs back in those days, right? While the Jeffersons were coming on up in the hood, they were getting locked up. Don't forget that part. Don't forget that part. Have your fun, Rick. It's your day, because I'm ready for the purple raven hair. I love it. I love it. All of this allowed me to get down from 3 luggages down to 1.
You needed quickness in traveling. Oh, yeah.
Look, you need to have a go bag. It has been 100 degrees and more since February, but I love it. It's healing, focused, and getting me my stamps. I know that's right. But for those of you, who are in the United States, you need to have a go bag. You need to have a go bag, and you need to have cash. All right. Rick and I used to keep about $5,000 cash in the house in a safe. And with our passports and the this and that, right? You get your toothbrush, you grab those things, and you're out. Because I don't know what's going on. Again, by the end of the summer, we will know what time it is. We will know whether all bets are off or he's been reined in.
Yeah, it's no longer having the thought of, oh well, he's still trying to figure out whatever, or he ain't gonna do that. He just, or he making excuses for him. There's no more reason.
No.
He didn't told you he didn't have a military parade. Now people are starting to die.
Wait a minute. So the Marines are turning 250. The Navy's turning 250. Are they getting a parade?
It was supposed to be the military parade.
He said it was the birthday of the Army. No, it was his birthday, and he wanted that. You know what they're trying to do, Handmaid's Tale. And here's the thing, Antonia, right? We were talking about this yesterday at the meetup. Handmaid's Tale. Why are they forcing women to have babies when they know they're not going to feed them, right? They're cutting off SNAP. They're cutting off TANF, aid to mothers with dependent children, right? They're cutting Medicaid. So what's supposed to happen? And they're laying off half the folks in the government. And so now that mom has to compete with other folks who have been laid off from the government. So who's going to be feeding these children? Excuse me,
They
with
ain't
this.
worried about it.
What is with these
They're not
children?
worried about it.
Oh, maybe they're building up a slave class of poor kids. Somebody got to pick that fruit. Somebody got to pick that fruit. You saw in Florida, they're trying to get rid of child labor laws. Why do they want people to have these babies and not help feed them and take care of them and make sure they have health care? Unless they intend for these babies to be going into the system and becoming slave labor. I don't know. I saw the Matrix. I don't know. I'm just asking a question. You know what they're trying to do. Handmaid's Tale. I don't know. I'm just asking a question. I don't put anything past these people.
No.
They had kids in cages last time. Why didn't the Latinos remember that they put their kids in cages between 2016 and 2020? How did they forget? CK, you make good choices in your life. We have some people who are too young to be in a position to be in that position.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have others who did not have the information to be in that position. I believe not all are legit officials. I don't believe they all are either.
I know, no.
They look crazy. Some got hush puppies on and some got like Reeboks on. It looks crazy. Some's in jeans too tight jeans.
Yeah, I don't
Skinny
think they're all
jeans.
officials, legit officials either.
And then some went full camo, really in the cosplay. I believe some are there. Some are they're so-called patriots. They're training for a race war. Creative Flavor and Travel says, look, he said, Proud Boys.
Stand back and stand by.
And the founder of the Proud Boys is what?
He's Cuban, part Cuban, something else.
He's Afro-Latino, y'all.
Yeah, Afro-Latino.
The boy black. The boy black. And started a white supremacist group. And he started Latinos for Trump.
Because he thinks.
I will vote for Donald Trump. Viva Mexico. Viva Trump. The tactics we see now in LA were first practiced in 2020 summer in places like Portland. Yeah, I remember. And in Denver. And then remember, he tried to call the army out on the protesters in Washington, D.C. when he wanted to walk down and hold up the Bible upside down. Remember that? Remember that?
He wanted them to shoot the protesters in the leg.
Exactly.
And Millie said, you can't do that. Or Millie, or the guy that
But
was
do you
in
think
charge of...
Hetzek would say that?
Oh, hell no. Hetzek.
Do you think cosplay Barbie would say that? And that's an insult to Barbie. That is an insult to Barbie. I'm not calling her that anymore. What was the knockoff Barbie? I'll call her that. Oh, hey, Daniel. Hola, Rick and Halisi. It's been a while since I joined a live stream. I know I haven't seen your name in a minute. Yeah. We'll be back for a good. We'll be back for good around August 15th. Yay! My anxiety increases every day being here. I'm so sorry. Oh. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it will be good to be back. Will be good to be back. Will you flee in fear or make decisions while empowered with a plan and resources? Exactly, right? Like Rick has been saying for the past 2 years, don't let desperation be your motivation, right? Plan. We have been telling you for the past 3 years what's coming. We have been telling you for the past 2 years what was probable. And now we're here and it's happening just as we said it would. And it's not like we're so smart. It's not like we're prognosticators of prognosticators. We're not. We are not. But we do read history. And we paid attention when he was in office last time, and we paid attention to what he said. And I believe him when he says it. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Until you prove me wrong, I'm going to assume that what you said is what you meant. Like, I don't know. They had all these Trump whispers. We were talking about this yesterday, too. They had all these Trump whispers out there. Well, what he really meant was, nah, he meant what he said.
All they doing is peeing on your head and tell you it's raining.
He meant, right? He meant what he said. And he said what he meant. And I'm going to believe him. When the president says, I want mass deportations, and when they have rally after 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 rally, holding up signs that say, yay, mass deportations, right? Then I figure they're going to be doing some mass deporting. There ain't that many criminals. We already knew that. We already knew that. If there's 20 million, let's just say, if there's 20 million undocumented immigrants, which there aren't, because that's how many he wanted to deport. There's not even 20 million undocumented immigrants. But if there were, I would say 1%, 2% have some kind of legal issue.
Yeah, right? It's not the majority.
So now you going to deport 10,000 people? That's not going to get you your numbers. When they trying to deport 3,000 per day. So that means they're going to run out of everybody. And then who they going to deport?
Yeah, I mean, come on now. They're going to Home Depots. They in Disneyland parking lots.
When I saw men in those fields running for their lives as ICE agents chased them, I started thinking of the slave trade. I started thinking of those slave catchers, right? Who would be chasing the slaves in the fields, the runaway slave. That's what I thought of. And if they are taking them without due process, snatching them up, and then sending them to some foreign land in the Congo, in Libya, in El Salvador, with no chance of ever getting out, that's slavery. Mm-hmm. It's not slavery by another name. When you sell a human being, because that's what they're doing, slave labor over there, that's slavery. That's what they're doing. That's what's going on. And we got to be real with that. Yeah. Because Allison says once they finish with the Hispanic community, they're going to come for us. We know that. And like the Latinos think we don't know that. Why y'all ain't out here? You know, you next. And blah, blah. Yeah, we know. We tried to tell you. We voted to make sure this wouldn't happen to you. But you didn't vote to make sure that it wouldn't happen to us. Not in the numbers that we did. Not in the numbers that we did. And Black MAGA, I hope they deport your behinds too. I hope they deport you too. Send you to the MF in Congo. Now, you know, the president had never heard of the Congo, but he done made a deal.
You're going to send him to Congo, you're going to send him to El Salvador.
Or wherever.
He's sending him to Africa. You're going to send him to El Salvador.
Well, you know, they made a deal with Libya, and they made a deal with
who made the deal with Libya?
Trump. They got a facility there and one in the Congo. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they got concentration camps all over the world now. It ain't just Guantanamo. No, where you want? We won't send you. Like, oh, you black? You going over there? Right? You look brown. You look, Southeast Asian. You look like you could be Iranian or Pakistani or Palestinian or something. Yeah, you go to Libya.
I gotta read up.
And all you Latino, you gonna go down to El Salvador, right? That's what they gonna do. Haitian, no, you ain't going back to Haiti. You going to the Congo too. These people crazy. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. I don't trust them not one bit. Not one bit.
I gotta read up on that.
They pardoned the J6ers. And that's why they're wearing masks. Because then we can link them up and see because they was, all on social media talking about, yeah, I'm about to poop in Nancy Pelosi's office. But we're the savages. Right? They're playing in our faces, people. Hey, Marcus, you're working on my exit. Where are you working on his exit? Had to do a name change. You never know who's watching. Had an open house on King's Day, set to sell my house in the U.S., working with Malcolm in Portugal to find a place. Good, Marcus. Yeah, look, I understand having to be on the DL. I understand. And all of you should be thinking this way. All of you who you want to move freely around the world, you should all be thinking this way. It's too late for us. It's too late for us, but it's not too late for you. Incremental cruelty is now a way of life. Yep. There has been no penalty or correction. Nope. Thus, there is zero course correction. This is expected. Yep. The masses are accepting this contact behavior. Like, this is obeying in advance, right? We told you what the deal was. This is obeying in advance. There was something else that I wanted to talk about. Okay. So since January 1st, there's been terrorism, right? Some butthole set the governor's mansion on fire during a Sabbath type celebration when they knew he, his family, and extended family were in that governor's mansion. They are sending bomb threats to the Texas legislature. They're detaining, harassing, and arresting elected officials, MacGyver, Baraka, Dugan. They're physically assaulting our people, Padilla and Maxine Waters. They have murdered or wounded our elected officials like Hortman and Hoffman and their spouses. This is what is going on in America. And if anybody thinks this is normal, you are out of your minds. We cannot think of a time when a sitting president has verbally threatened a governor of a state on live TV. Now, what happens behind closed door, we don't know, right? But the melon felon turned to the governor of Maine and said, you better do what I say or we're not going to give you no money. What? And we're accepting this as normal. And the media did not call that out. They did not call it out. That was March 2025. Ridiculous. There is the closest parallel may be like the Richard Nixon enemies list, right?
Yeah.
And he did use the IRS and the FBI to go after his political enemies. He did. But that was all done in secret. Like, we didn't know about that stuff until the trials and stuff started happening, right?
Well, you got governors standing up on TV or sending information out that if you're get stopped by blockage of protesters, it's okay to drive your car and run them over. So now the people are thinking that it's okay to kill you.
Yes.
For running you over. You got sheriffs.
Yeah, that was the governor of Florida.
That
right?
was D-Satan.
D-Satan. Mm-hmm.
You got sheriffs saying, if you spit on us, we're going to send you to the hospital. or we'll kill you
If you
graveyard dead. If you throw a brick, you'll be graveyard dead. Threatening to kill people, it's okay. We're going to kill you.
Now you compare that to what the sheriff of Austin said before the No King's Day. And she's like, I will be out there with you. I want to work with you. We've got to keep it peaceful. We will have people in the crowds picking out the agitators and removing them so you can go about your peaceful protest. That's how Austin responded. Of course, the rest of Texas has lost its mind besides the Dallas area.
I mean, you know, they are saying the quiet part out loud.
Yeah, they are.
Loud and clear with a megaphone.
Yeah, and we cannot, we can't put our head under a mattress and pretend like this stuff is not happening or that it won't affect you because you make 6 figures or you are a doctor, lawyer, this or that. Yeah, y'all. They arrested a white female judge. Was she a federal judge? She might have been a federal judge. Whether she was federal or state, a judge.
Yeah, I think she was. I don't think she's federal. I think she was a state judge. But she's a judge.
A judge.
So, you know, there's no respect or anything for the law. They threatened the Supreme Court justices.
So they had to increase security for the Supreme Court justice. I'm not sure who you're talking to, Dina. There's no such thing as an illegal immigrant. You might be in the wrong place. We do not call immigrants illegal. We do not call human beings illegal. They may be undocumented. They may have missed some paperwork, but no human being is illegal. And I realize you are on the channel of the person who was raised by Malcolm X and Sister Soldier. Don't lecture us. You might be lecturing somebody else, but anybody who watches us knows. Okay? We understand that we are not immigrants. We understand that we are descendants of folks who they stole. We understand that we are, I'm going to leave you up here. We understand that we are the survivors of the survivors of the survivors. We understand that we Black Americans who are the descendants of slaves are probably the strongest, wisest people on the planet, including the people on the mother continent, because of what we have survived, and it's in our DNA. Don't come on this channel lecturing nobody. So Ric's high school friend got to meet me, and he's like, "Whoa, your wife is fire." Yes. Yes. I am fire when it comes to us. I am fire when it comes to justice. And I am a tornado inferno when it comes to justice for us. I don't bend. I don't bow. I don't capitulate. I don't run. And I'm not afraid. So don't come on here with no, and another thing, I'm just going to say this too. Don't come on here with no FBA bullshit. Don't. After you heard what I just said about who we are as the descendants of slaves, do not come on here with no FBA bull crap, because I do not believe in dividing the people of the diaspora.
No.
I will not buy into that colonialized BS. And I don't care if Africans have not gotten hip to the skip about who we are, and some of them have still been manipulated by the power brokers. I don't care about that. That's a they problem. That's not a me problem. That doesn't mean that I'm going to act like them because they don't know. I know. And I know that everyone from the diaspora is going to have to stick together. That's what I know. And so no matter where I am on the world, where I am physically on the planet, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to support mine, the people who look like me. And I don't care if they don't appreciate it. I have the moral high ground in this bitch.
That's it.
I've been saying for the last several years, they want to force childbirth to make more lower class workers. On point, LaRonda. On point. On point. I tell you, it's diabolical. You think that they just made up this stuff and wanted to get, they have been wanting to put us back in the plantation for centuries. For centuries. They cannot fathom. They don't understand how we are still so resilient, how we are still so brilliant, how we are still so brave, so bright, so brilliant. They don't understand how y'all still thriving, how y'all still winning, how y'all got Black billionaires, how y'all do that? Well, of course we did it.
We done bombed you and burned you out, and you still come back. We like
and still I rise, and still I rise,
still I rise,
and still I rise. Right, like that, like they don't get it, and they're so jealous. Oh my God, oh my God, they just hate us because they ain't us. They hate the fact that they can't take the sun, and they know global warming is happening, and they ain't gonna be able to handle it. They can't take the fact that we can do so much with our hair. They can't take the fact that we got rhythm. Well, I don't, but my husband got rhythm, and most of y'all got rhythm. They can't take it. They can't take it. Oh my gosh. All right. They can't take it. And they got 1,000 excuses of why they haven't gotten ahead. They got 1,000 excuses. Boy, they get a little hangnail and they be crying. Oh, do my hangnail. I got this hangnail because of that Latino over there. Because of that, the Muslim over there. Because of that Negro, right? They always got to blame somebody else for their problems. No, it's your own poor, crappy choices. That's why you in the position you in. Boy, if I can make it, you can too. But see, if you don't know your history, and you don't know about systemic racism and you want to negate it, then what do you have? See, this is the sickness. This is the sickness that is going on in their community because they don't know. And they look around and they're like, well, I ain't got no privilege. I'm broke. I'm poor. And you stupid. Right? And so they're like, and they look at us and they're like, because we are not living in la la land. We know what's up. We know what we got to do. But you living in la la land and you don't know your history and you don't know why things are the way they are. And then you look at your life and you're like, well, hell. That's why they crazy. That is why they crazy. They don't have the information and they look around and shit don't make sense. Well, it wouldn't make sense to me if I didn't know the history. Like George Carlin said, they're not pro-life. They're not pro-life.
No, never have been.
They're not pro-life. They're pro-fetus. They're pro-slavery. They're pro-women as breeding machines. That's what they are. They're pro-birth. As Rhonda says, after you're born, they don't give a damn. They don't give a damn about you. The kids, nothing. Right? They don't even have a good social welfare system for kids who may want to be, adopted, right? Or kids for adoption and all of that. Or when they take kids out of the house, the whole system is screwed. The whole system is screwed. They are not trying to create life. They are trying to create a slave class because America was built upon free labor and they have never figured out how to do capitalism without a slave class. Right now, it is undocumented immigrants because they can be paid whatever. They show up every week. They get paid in cash, right? Some of them get a check with a false Social Security number, which means they're paying into Social Security and they'll never get it back.
No.
They'll never get it back. So they show up and they go, okay, Jim, I done my week's worth of work. He's like, oh, I'm short today. What you gonna do? What you gonna do, Jose? What you gonna do? You gonna report me? No, I'll have it for you next week. Next week, instead of getting the 2 weeks, you get a week and a half. What you gonna do? That's the slave labor that they've got right now. That's why all these farmers are mad, because we getting rid of their slave labor, where they can just pay them whatever, right? If all of these people have a pathway to true residency, then they got to pay a minimum wage. Then you're gonna have to pay more for your apples. Then you're gonna have to pay more for your strawberries. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They create a slave class. They know what time it is. They know what time it is. Okay, we just read that one. Sorry about that, y'all. If you're watching from the future, let us know. I want to know if you went to a No Kings protest, if you saw what was going on in your city. Was it big? Was it impressive? Do you feel like white folks have finally gotten a clue and realized that they're not safe either, and they're going to do what they need to do over the summer to change the tide? Do you believe that? Does it feel like that? Do you feel a shift? The police started off as slave catchers, y'all. We know the history of the police force, right? They were never meant for public protection. They were never meant to protect you and I. They were only devised for two reasons: one, to be slave catchers, and two, to protect rich people's property. That's it. That's it. Right? And so if you never reimagined, if you never sat down as a police department or as a system and reimagined and said, okay, yeah, that's yesterday, but today is today. We are not the same people. We are evolved. How should this look today? They've never done that. They don't care. They don't care because their communities are not over policed. So they don't care. And then our people and other people of color get into it, a lot of them trying to think, I'm going to change it from within. No. And then they get in there like, oh shit, this is a behemoth. It's got to be reimagined from the outside in. And that's why I thought there was so much of an opportunity. But the people in charge of the messaging and that defund the police lost the opportunity. They lost the opportunity. Who's the Attorney General of New York? First of all, I didn't know she was almost 70 years old.
Letitia?
I think that's her name. That woman. We know they got a quota to fill. And we have cop friends who have told me quotas are real. Yeah. Quotas are real. They try to play in our face.
Letitia James, I believe that her name is.
I think you're right. Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah, she's on
point. Who ain't backed down once.
She has not backed down. She has not backed down. They always do. They always come for us. We know that. We know that.
And they're coming.
They're coming. For those of you who don't know, I always say, y'all hear me say that I was raised by Sister Souljah and Malcolm X. And so, what that looked like in my childhood is that meant I had a lot of, I didn't know it then, but a lot of important people come into our house to plan stuff. I didn't know what was going on. These were just my mom and dad's friends as far as I was concerned. I remember they were planning the rollout of Kwanzaa. I remember they were planning the rollout of a lot of demonstrations and trying to get people into the local state colleges and universities, and going to these big conferences and things like that. I remember Roberta Flack was at our house. I remember Ron Karenga, the founder of the US organization in Kwanzaa, was at our house. I also remember that the police were camped out outside of our house, and a lot of our neighbors started to complain and get pissed off because the cops were always camped out on my street. I know that our house was bugged, our phone was tapped, and that they were arresting my father every other day. So when I see what's going on today, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because I know how the system works. I know how the system works. And so at the time, my father was an engineer for an aerospace company. And to be an engineer for an aerospace company back in those days, and today too, I'm sure, because they work on the satellites and all of this stuff in the airplanes that the military uses, you have to have a security pass.
Yeah, high security.
So they decided, because my father was trying to help out our community, that he must be a communist. And we've got to teach the Negroes a lesson. And so they took away his security pass. His bosses went to the trial to petition on his behalf. This was during, the whole McCarthy bull crap, right? To petition on his behalf. That made no difference. It made no difference. It made no difference that, he had been in the army. It made no difference that he had his degree, right? And he's an engineer. It made no difference. All of that respectability, politics, nonsense did not make a difference. Just like it didn't make a difference that brown man, Senator Alex Padilla, was a senator.
A United States senator.
Not a state senator, but one of 100 human beings on the planet. Right? It didn't matter. It didn't matter. So it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you get the degree or you don't get the degree, if you wear your hair like this or you don't wear your hair like this, if you walk like this or you don't, if your pants are up, if your pants are down. It does not matter. It doesn't matter. And we've got to stop acting like it does. We've got to stop acting like it does. Racism is going to destroy this planet if we let them. It's already destroyed America. America's dead. It's gone. It's over. Okay, know that. I said it at the beginning and I'm saying it now. It's over. There will never be the America that we think should be in our lifetime. It's over. No one will ever trust us again. Not with this generation. Canada, Mexico, the Western European, right? All those allies, and we big shit and we can walk around the world. No, it's over. It's over. Now, is this the fall of Western dominance? Not necessarily right now, but it's definitely the fall of America. America's out. It's alienated, isolated on its own. And it won't matter what happens 2 years from now in the election. So count that out. It will matter for the folks in America because you'll have some reprieve. But as far as our standing with the rest of the world, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens in 2028. You can elect AOC. It won't matter. It will not matter because they'll say 4 years from now, you'll elect JD Vance or Tim Miller. We can't trust Americans because they're too MFing stupid. And they have allowed racism to dictate their lives. There's a high cost to racism. It's a high cost. And then white folks gonna feel it. And they're gonna feel it good. We've been feeling it all our lives. So this is just Tuesday for us. We've never felt it like we're gonna feel it if you stay in America. If you don't stay in America and you decide to leave, you might not feel it that much. You might not feel it any more than anybody else outside of America. But if you stay, I don't know. I don't know, right, Tana? I don't know. What y'all think? I'm going to tell you, I liked seeing the crowds yesterday, but I wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed. You guys may not know. For all of you who are watching, I'm assuming that you're watching because you are learned and you have consciousness. You're woke. You may not know, but less than 4% of Black Americans participated in the civil rights movement. Less than 4% of Black Americans participated in the civil rights movement. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Most sat on the sidelines. Oh, too much, too soon, too fast. All right. We got to stay in our place. Keep your head down. Don't get too loud, not too rowdy. All right. That's what they said. Even my grandfather said it, my paternal grandfather. I don't know. Joe, you need to be careful. Be careful out there. I don't know.
Get in trouble.
Don't want you to get in trouble. Keep your head down. Go along to get along, right? What if all of us would have done that in those days? We would not be sitting here. We would not be sitting here. And so the majority of people are always going to sit out. The majority of people are cowards. They're cowards. They're cowards. But they're really fast to reap the benefits. They're really fast to reap the benefits. So I wasn't impressed by yesterday. I was happy to see it. I was happy to see that we were not out there en masse. But I was not impressed with the numbers. It needed to be double that. It needed to be double that. No, white folks ain't felt the pain yet. They ain't felt the pain yet, but they will. They will. Yeah. That's where police idea came from, right? Slave patrol. You're absolutely right, Trudeau. Myra says, everything that they are doing is in line with Project 2025, and VP Harris warned us. And so did our Black Utopia. Because I read Project 2025, not the whole 900 pages, but I read each topic and then read down on the topics that I was interested in. Okay? Like, they gave the playbook. He said what he was going to do. He said, I don't need your vote. I already got all the votes I need. Ain't no vote had started. But he's like, I got all the votes I need.
You won't have to vote again.
Oh, okay, Christians. Okay. Just vote for me this time, and then you'll never have to vote again. We'll have it all fixed. Have it fixed? Have what fixed? What's all? We'll have it all fixed. Have what fixed? And you'll never have to vote again, quote unquote. What will he have fixed? He tells on himself every time. And Americans sit there and listen and go, whoa, but what he really meant was, no, he said what he meant. He like a kid. He can't hold it. Elon told him what he was doing behind the scenes with Starlink and all this shit. And he was like, ooh, really? And you can just manipulate and do this and do that and do this and do that? Yeah, I can do that. No worries.
I think what Senator Padilla went through, all the Democrat senators need to go through it. Then maybe.
Yeah. Starting with the president or the minority leader, Schumer.
All of them.
Knock his milly willy mouth on the ground.
Get out there and say something, do something, make them, force them to take action against you.
And we have to make them take action.
Just like Governor Newsom said, come get me, big guy. You badass, come get me. Come arrest me. Well, he hasn't done anything wrong. Really? Because that's not what you're saying. You talking out both sides of your mouth. Yeah. If he hasn't done anything wrong, then why do you need to liberate something? Why do you need to set something free? Free from what? If he hasn't done anything wrong. You see? Do you see? Y'all, this is not a joke. This is not a joke. This is the real deal. This is not a dress rehearsal, y'all. The U.S. is paying the foreign countries to take the U.S. captives. That's right. No names, no due process, right? It's slavery. This is human trafficking. That's what it is. Human trafficking. Not that J.D. Vance is going to be any better. But here's the difference. Like, J.D. Vance is just as evil, and he's probably smarter, but he ain't got the charisma. Don't nobody like his ass. And he can put on all the eyeliner and mascara that he wants to, and it ain't going to make a difference. There's something about Trump. I don't see it, but there's something that they just love them some Trump, right? He mesmerized them. For life.
But like JD can say the same nonsense that Trump says.
And they look at him like he a damn fool.
Unless Trump okays it. Unless Trump says, yeah, then they're like, oh, okay, yeah. But if Trump doesn't say anything, then they talk about him like a dog. Like a dog. All right.
Yeah, Democratic senators and congressmen need to force their hand.
Yeah. Now, I think you mean Melania, Greta, because I don't know who Melanie is, but I think you mean Melania. I didn't see Melania's face at this parade, but I saw Trump's, and I heard Melania was like snickering.
She had a little
Does she have a smirk on her
She had a
face?
little smirky smile on her face that I saw, and he was looking like he was taking a dump in his diaper.
I believe that a good portion of these ICE buttholes are former J6ers. I believe that, Greta. I believe that. So that's not true. Latinos are not necessarily Europeans who traveled over with the colonizers. Latinos can be indigenous to the Americas, which means they look like Native Americans, right? And they're indigenous from Uruguay down there all the way to Alaska. And they look more Asian than they look white. There are a lot of Latinos that look white because they have more of the Spanish in them. But no, there are indigenous Latinos who call themselves Latinos who look more like Native Americans than they do look like Spaniards. So, and they call themselves brown, and they are brown, right? And then there's some who are very fair that want to be white adjacent, yeah. And then there's some who are very fair who don't want to be white adjacent. But yeah, Latinos are not pure Europeans. They are not. That's not true. We're next. There's no next. We're always having to deal with something.
That's right. Say we're always
look. Next, right, because they've already started deporting the Black folks, right? They have already started. But when I say we're next, I mean that really like the heavy concentration of oppression right at this moment is not 100% directed towards African Americans against Black Americans, right? It is more directed towards immigrants and people who they believe are immigrants. And because, right? So if your name is in a database and you happen to be Black because you're an immigrant from Haiti or wherever, right? Then yeah, you gonna get caught up. But so that's what I was talking about, LaRonda. Like, I think they haven't turned the full force. They don't have the brain power and bandwidth to focus on too many groups at the same time, right? And so once they think they got the rhythm of harassing and haranguing the immigrants and doing all the nasty stuff they gonna do to them, it's like, okay, now what was next on the list? Oh yeah, them Blacks, right? And so then we will feel the full force. I don't think we felt the full force of what they have up their sleeve yet.
Bro, they want to force our hand to get out there, be in the streets.
Yeah.
And because, so they can shoot us.
That's right. That's right.
So they can shoot us.
And the ones that are still living gonna be picking.
Ibram Touré.
How do you see Touré's approach to gold mining concessions in Burkina Faso playing out, given their break with IMF and push for greater control over their own natural resources?
It's something that needs to be done. I'm glad that he put the French out of the country and took over his gold mining, built gold mines and everything else. And I think he's doing a great job for things he's doing. Thing is, we got to keep him alive. We got to keep him alive. We can't let them do to him what they did to Gaddafi. Yeah. We can't do that.
Yeah. And so, okay, first of all, I want to thank our audience because I was not paying attention to Burkina Faso or Touré. I was not. And the first time somebody mentioned it, I was like, who's that? And somebody got in our comment, yeah, you don't know. Look, we know what we know. Okay. You ain't got to go all there. So I want to thank y'all for keeping us on our toes. I hope and pray, and there are some white folks as well who understand what is at stake. That they create some kind of United States of Africa, right, where they have free trade, and I want them to start getting rid of those borders. They can do that. They can do that, right? Start knocking down some of those borders so that they're not dealing with so much tribal wars, right? And they can get back to whatever boundaries were supposed to be there in the first place. Because right now there's just imaginary borders. Yeah.
And Africa is a continent that has everything it needs.
It really is. It does have everything it needs. from brain power to natural resources and everything in between. I love the fact that he is encouraging his own folks to be innovative, and he is investing in research and development and education for his own people, and hopefully folks around him, and even for those leaders who are still caught up in that colonized mindset where let them eat cake, right? They gonna get rich and they don't give a about their people, right? Even for those people, if their people see what is happening in Burkina Faso, if the people see what's happening in other countries where the leaders are doing right by their people and their people's lives are getting excrementally better, I'm hoping the people will rise up and take those people down who are still colonized. Those leaders down, take them down so that they can start partnering with other countries who are trying to do right by their people. I think we are looking at the next African Renaissance. You know that we are the creators and inventors of everything, of mathematics, of psychiatry, of medicine. We had the first universities, right? Everything from modern society started on the continent of Africa with Black Africans, not Arab, Black Africans. It started with us long time ago. And it looks like it happens in thousands of years, I guess, right? Because we had a millennia. We had a millennia of being on top of the planet and being the richest and all of that, right? We changed, when I can't remember his name, he was one of the leaders of a West African country at the time, and when he went on this tour across the continent, he was giving out so much gold that he changed the markets and stuff. He changed the markets. That's how rich we have been, right? And so I think what we're seeing, and I'm not sure that I'll see it in my lifetime, but we are seeing an African Renaissance.
I think we're seeing a paradigm shift,
right? And it's really heartening to see that. Yeah. Right. All right. What you guys talking about? Hey, Rider Skater. Are allergies very bad in Portugal? Lots of Americans are considering Portugal as a possible move. I think everybody's body is different, right? So,
I don't think it's any worse than anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's like she said, everybody's body is different.
Yeah.
I mean, I have allergies, but they haven't bothered me yet. But there'll come a time I'll probably have my little allergy issues and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the other thing is we're going through some weather changes and stuff like that. So it was really rainy, then it got really hot, then it cooled down again, and then tomorrow it's going to be back up to like the 90s and stuff like that. So all this, all these changes and the wind's been blowing hard, and pollen and all that stuff. I don't know. I just know I've been having this nasal drip that has just been messing with my throat. Okay, it was Passover Seder with Governor Shapiro. Thank you, Ashira. Thank you. Obviously, I'm not Jewish. I just remembered it was a religious holiday. I think I said Sabbath or something. I think that's probably Christian. I don't know, but y'all know what the point is. Thank you for the information. Peace seeker, liberating. Baby, I'm 60 years old. I don't know what you're trying to say. Something about waiting to help my mom, almost 18 years old. You got to write in full words. I'm too old for the text talk. I'm sorry, peace seeker, liberating. Love you, baby, but I'm old. The Florida sheriff is the modern day Bull Connor.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Greta, on point. So I'm hoping you guys saw that, right? Did you see him? Did you see him on television saying, if you throw a brick, just know I will be calling your parents to tell them where to pick up your remains. That's the way the cops talk? Are you freaking kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? So let me get this straight. So you got all this militarized police behind these Humvees and tanks and all this other stuff, and somebody throws a brick and you gonna shoot them dead? Really? That's how you gotta roll behind them Humvees? Y'all, I don't know. I do not know. But one thing that I do know is that America's lost its mind. Protests in Houston were peaceful today. Oh, that's good.
And they should be.
And all of them were peaceful that I saw.
Yeah, all of them that I saw.
Because we weren't there. And Latinos weren't there en masse, right? You notice that. It was mostly white. And so they didn't need to call in the National Guard. They didn't need to call in extra riot cops and all of that stuff. Tear gas and all that stuff.
Especially for a small portion of LA. Y'all tell us in LA, Karen Louise, you're out there. Y'all tell us in LA, how big of an area did this riot take place?
I don't need them to tell us.
Because it sounded like it was like a city block, maybe, if that big.
I
was
born and raised in LA, and I know it was a few blocks.
Right, it's like, you got to call the Marines.
It was a few blocks in the city of LA. And then Paramount's not even in the city of LA. Karen Bass is not even in control of Paramount. She's the mayor of the city. Counties don't have mayors. But the Mellon felon's a stupid FUCK, and so he don't know that. And the Barbie chick, she don't know that. Like, how are you in government and you don't even understand how government works? You understand the loonies are running the crazy house. The loonies are running the crazy house. But people are still distracted about Diddy.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, who cares about Diddy?
Well, that's important because human trafficking is always important.
Yeah, understandable. But I don't care about...
But at the same time, if you ain't got no democracy...
Thank you. Is he gonna pardon Diddy?
I don't give a FUCK.
You know, it's like, oh my gosh, there's crazy serious...
I've never known... And Beyonce tickets.
They're taking away your freedom.
Right? I've never known a time when the hate was so high, not just hate from white people, the perceived ones, to help those in harm. Yeah, I could feel it. Y'all, I was just there a month ago, and there is a spirit that is hanging over the United States, and maybe it's always been there, and I've never felt it because I've never been gone long enough to feel it. But it is a spirit of angst, of rage, of low-level rage that is just there, and you can feel it, and it's in the air, it's palpable. And it's a tinderbox. It feels like it's a tinderbox just waiting to explode. Why? Because the United States has never dealt with its original sin, and now they've got a bunch of people who are pissed off because they don't understand that there was an original sin. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. You let us know. And we're going to let you go. If y'all, hey, Jazzy D, haven't seen you in a minute. White man shoots 2 elected officials while impersonating law enforcement, and not one media source is calling him a terrorist.
Nope.
That part. Why do Black Americans want to stay and fight for a country that does not give a shit about them? Why? Talk to your friends. Talk to your family. Let them know America is not the future. They need to, if they want their kids to thrive, if they want their grandkids to thrive, they need to start making ties outside of America. It is not the future. And it certainly isn't the future for us. It's not, y'all. It's not. It's too late. It's too late. It would have been better off had he just kept the tariffs, because then at least he'd stick by his guns. But now it's like, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. He's a taco. I don't know. He may do it. He may not. He may do it. He may not. I don't know. Hey, Rapper MD, thank you, sweetheart. I don't know. I'm not sure that you understand how countries work fiscally. Okay. Here's the deal. We could build our own infrastructure with debt. That's the United States. The United States uses debt. And so that debt comes with a price, and it's very expensive. And so a good chunk of America's GDP goes towards paying off that debt.
Paying off China and
exactly. Most African countries could pay off their debt in a year. We couldn't pay our debt in a generation. That's why Africa is using other people's money. But they have resources. Once they start reclaiming those resources away from the colonizers, they'll be able to pay cash on demand as they are building their GDP.
That's what Ibrahim Traoré has done.
Exactly.
That's why he paid their debt off with gold.
I want you to understand the history. Okay. China was not colonized by Europe. And China and the Chinese people operate a lot differently than Africans. And Africa, the continent, is so huge. You had 1,000 years ago different types of folks on the continent. And why am I saying this? Because it's easier to divide and conquer people who are very different. Whereas in China, they did not have as desperate groups. But when they did, there was fighting, right? And when they did, the UK and the United States were able to pour opium into China.
Keep them high.
To make sure that they took advantage as much as they could with trading with China and grabbing all of their resources. But the continent of Africa is still so much bigger, all right? And so it's very easy for us to sit here on the sidelines, not truly understanding all of the history, unless you've done research and you've got a PhD on the colonization of the continent, and sit here in judgment and say things that basically say these countries are less than, when we know that the police have had their foot on George Floyd's neck for the past 300 to 400 to 500 years. It's very easy to sit there and say, yeah, well, they were the strong ones. The strong survived, blah, 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 whoop-de-woo. That's because they didn't realize they were in the presence of God. Had they realized that they were in the presence of God, they would have bowed down. And we didn't realize that we were in the presence of the demons. And so we welcome the demon into our house because we are God's, because we are the embodiment of love. And we don't know what else to do. That is in our DNA as well.
This is true.
And so it's very easy for us to sit here 500 years later and talk about what they should be doing and not acknowledging, without acknowledging what they have been through, right? There is no different than us doing that to them, than those Africans coming to America and saying, how come those African Americans don't have their shit together? How come those African Americans still ain't running things, ain't the CEOs of all of the country, or at least 14% of those Fortune 500 companies? How come those African Americans are overrepresented in jail? How come they're always whining and complaining? How come they seem overrepresented when it comes to welfare and SNAP benefits and things like that? How come? Well, it's easy for them to say that because they don't know our history. So if we don't want them to say that about us, when we understand that there has been systemic reasons why we cannot thrive and do not thrive to our full potential. And even like, look, if this were another world, Barack Obama would have been president, and 1,000 others too, right? If we don't want them to do that to us, then how dare we do that to them? Does anyone have any respect for the Supreme Court? No. I have respect for Ketanji Brown. I have respect for, Kagan and Sotomayor, but I don't have respect for the rest of them. They're merely mouth. And obviously the melon felon has no respect for them either.
Nope.
Right? Oh, thank you, Meredith. Not condoning violence, but ever notice how all racial groups need to keep the protest peaceful, right? When historically whites have always been the one who resorted to violence, right? Like we were out there peaceful. Look, there is no correct way for us to demonstrate. There is no correct way for us to protest. When Brother Man took a knee, that wasn't good enough, right? That was, too loud, too loud, out of control, disrespectful, right? When we dressed up in our Sunday best with our kids and our wives and our husbands, and we marched hand in hand, right? They turned water hoses on us.
And let the dogs loose.
And let the dogs bite and tear us, our flesh from our bones. There is never a correct way to protest when white people feel uncomfortable. Never.
Just like in what's his name? Kendrick Lamar's song.
Kendrick Lamar's, yeah.
At the Super Bowl, Uncle Sam said it all.
That's right.
Uncle Sam, too loud.
Too loud, too rowdy.
Too rowdy. Oh, calm down.
You got to calm down, right? How do we refer to melanated people here for centuries similar to us? I don't know any other terms. I don't know. I don't know. Like, how do they want to refer to them, right? Like some Black people do not want to be called African American.
No.
Some only want to be called Black American. And I respect that. I choose to be called African American. For those who, any Black American, any American who identifies as Black, who the world would identify as Black, who has lived in America, whose people have been in America since the 1800s, deserves reparations, because that's what the FBA bullshit is about. Okay. So if you can trace your lineage back, and they can, because I've seen it in the census, I've traced mine, right? Back to the 1800s. Then those are the people who are going to get reparations. And we don't have to divide and conquer. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I have no patience for it. I really, really don't. I really don't. Like, my father is rolling over in his grave right now with that FBA stuff. He is rolling over. He is rolling over. I don't care. I don't care about the prejudices that Africans have. I don't care. That is a them problem. That is not a me problem. I have the moral high ground. And my moral high ground says we, the diaspora, will stick together. Period. The end. And that's not one-on-one, not with that person or that person, because there's out there. But I'm talking about as a group. As a group. I'm not going to divide and conquer. I'm not doing it. So just not. This is not the channel for you. If that's your thing, this is not the channel. Seriously. 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 This is not the channel. You can choose whatever you want to be called, right. Peace seeker. You call whatever you want to call. Okay. I don't care. I'm African American because my people are from Africa. Okay. And I'm proud of it because humanity started on the continent of Africa, right? When God said he was creating man in his own image, he created that on the continent of Africa. That means I am created in the image of God, and everybody else is a derivative of me. I'm proud that my ancestors are from Africa because that is the cradle of civilization. Now, everybody else can be proud of what their stuff is.
Yeah.
And I ain't mad at you. But don't ask me to buy in to any divide and conquer nonsense. Just don't. Just don't. And if you want to say that as an FBA, that means that your folks came over on the ships by force, then that's fine.
That's fine.
But hey, Action VJ.
Oh, Action BJ showed up. I didn't know I thought he'd be running around.
No, they still aren't angry enough. They still aren't angry enough. Women enslaved for their human eggs in Jordan.
Yeah.
Right? You cannot make this up. We are now incubators, y'all. We are incubators. They do not want to feed the kids who are here, who are alive, but they are keeping this woman alive against her family's wishes. Oh my God. Someone who just lost someone. I can't think of a worse thing. I just can't. Look, everybody wants to get next to the magic, and they just don't know how. The Reform Party, who is doing quite well here in the UK, if the polls are now hinting about re-migration, i.e. deporting non-whites, we have a 3 to 4 year plan to leave before the next election. Dang, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, what else are you guys talking about? All right, I think that's it. We just wanted to check in with you guys. I saw something else. Wait, what did another member? Antonia. Oh, thank you. So Antonia just gifted 10 memberships, y'all. All right, 10 folks will get to be members for a month here on Our Black Utopia. And as we said, we have a chitty chat. Excuse me.
Some water?
I do need water. We have a chitty chat before we go live almost every Sunday. I almost didn't do it today. Now you understand why. My voice. I should have stopped yelling. That was the problem on Thursday, right? I'm trying to talk over the music and everything else.
Well, it's not helping. You kind of got a little heated here.
Oh, wow.
I was wondering about your voice.
Hey, anyway, I thank you. Thank you so much. And Allison for the super sticker.
Thank you, Allison.
We thank you. As you know, all super stickers, super thanks, and super chat money goes to our scholarship fund for Beyond the Bling. That's our financial independence program for late bloomers. That information is in the description below. And with that, I think we're gonna let y'all go. I don't know what you guys think. You're all ready to go? So for members, for Utopian members who are members of Our Black Utopia, not Facebook, but YouTube channel, you get posts that only you can see. And that will give you the link to our Zoom calls where we kind of hang out. And that will give you the Utopian Legends, the link to come chat with us on air on our live streams every other Thursday. Okay. All right.
So we've had Antonia.
Okay, thank you, Peace Seeking Liberating. I'm glad I didn't scare you off, and I appreciate you giving me some help with the nasal drip. I appreciate it. All right. So oh my gosh, I just thank you guys so much. I don't understand, why do we need to be angry? Right. I advocate for cleverness, cold reason, analysis, and action. No, we don't need to be angry. White folks need to be angry. They need to be angry because they voted for that crap. Now they need to be angry because they didn't understand what they was voting for. Not us. Look, we do. CK, we do. But white folks need to get angry so that they can stop the hemorrhaging. And the only reason I'm concerned about stopping the hemorrhaging and stopping the climb towards 100% totalitarianism and authoritarianism, because right now we're at about 70%, y'all. Truly. All right. Is because we have family there and investments. Otherwise, I'd say let that shit burn. If I didn't have, y'all, I'm gonna be a little selfish right now, but if I didn't have family there and I didn't know anybody there anymore, right? Well, maybe I'd been gone for a generation or so. I don't know. I don't know if I'd be like, come on, y'all, get stuff together. I don't know. Because I know how evil the American system has been to people around the planet, including their own, right? Peace for Lisa. For Lisa says, Halisi's cooking today. I came in a little late and I'm still getting full. Thank you, Halisi. You're making me laugh, cry, and think. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate it. When do you all leave for Mexico? We are looking to move there, looking for the right city and wondering how long the process is. So the process can go very quickly. You can do the process in less than a couple of months for Mexico. And we're going to be there at the end of September to celebrate Ric's birthday. And so we'll be in Querétaro, Mexico. I'm not sure if we're coming to the United States. We'll see what happens this summer. We're supposed to be going on this cruise and stuff, y'all. I don't know. I mean, I probably need to go to the United States just to see my mom, but I don't know. In and out, I don't know. Because I cannot get stuck there.
Hey, I ain't been there, and it's not like
I cannot get stuck there. I just can't. So, in any event,
I probably need to go back too, but
yeah,
see my great grandson.
Yeah, we got new grandkids and all this stuff before he's 5
before
years
he turns
old.
20.
Right. I mean, it's difficult, and it's a shame that we have to decide whether it is safe for us to go back to the country of our birth when that country is America. And it feels like this feels different than what I'm wondering James Baldwin or somebody like that felt like. I mean, did he think that he was going to get arrested as soon as he hit the airport? Right. I don't know. I need to research that. I don't know if they were doing those kinds of things to the extent that they're doing them now, back in those days, with folks who were agitators, right? Folks who were not keeping their head down. I don't know. But we're definitely in interesting times. And I think that all of you watching needs to have a plan. And if you need help with a plan, we can help you. We offer one-on-one coaching, and that information is in the description below. We also have a Facebook group called Fire Over 50, and that is crowdsourcing. Everybody's helping everybody get this financial thing together and get out of Dodge. So that's Fire Over 50. If you want to be a part of another community, or money is the issue, our side hustle challenge starts next month. And I think as of this morning, we still had a few spots available. That information also is in the description below. The Side Hustle Challenge starts mid-July and goes through to September. It's 10 weeks, and it will take you from idea to launch of your business within 10 weeks. You got to be ready to do the work. You've got to be ready to do the work. If you're not ready this time, wait until next time, okay? Wait until next time. So that information also is in the description below. And with that, we're going to see y'all on Thursday. We love you all. Stay safe out there. Stay safe. Keep each other safe. Keep the faith. Have a plan and put your plan in motion. And turn the TV off. Bye.